Today, Governor Greg Abbott officially filed for re-election. Over the coming year, he'll make his case to voters why he should get another 4 years in office. From the border to COVID to the winter blackouts, there's a lot to talk about.
That's right. And on this day, the governor has made time to join us live right here on 3 News to touch on some of these issues. So, Governor, thank you so much for making time for us. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it. And I want to make sure that we discuss the border given our location, but I want to begin with weather. ERCOT recently released a report that looks at 5 different extreme weather scenarios. 4 of those showed the potential for blackouts. So has Texas done enough to winterize, or are we just hoping for better weather?
Actually, there's been a tremendous amount of work put in. For one, I signed almost a dozen laws passed by the Texas legislature to prepare the grid for the upcoming winter. Second, the Public Utilities Commission has already established standards that I'll tell you about in a second, but then also ERCOT is doing more. They continue to work as we approach wintertime. Let me just give you 3 things that have already happened that will ensure that the power grid will be both stable and reliable this winter. One is that we now have 15% more power generating capacity than we did last February. Second, by December the 1st, which is next week, all of the power generators will be winterized, unlike last year. And third, and that is, there's a different approach that's being taken by ERCOT and that's a proactive approach as opposed to a reactive approach. What happened last year, the leaders at ERCOT, they waited until the crisis occurred before they took the action that was necessary to fix the problem. And what the ERCOT is doing now is a proactive approach, working days in advance of any potential storm, working for the worst case situation possible to make sure that they will have summoned all of the power that's needed to make sure that we will have the power grid working throughout however severe a storm may be.
Okay, Governor, another question here. The Coastal Bend region, as you know, is home to hundreds of ranchers, some of which have been directly impacted by what's being seen at the border. At the top of this newscast, we had a report about how Jim Hogg County here in the Coastal Bend is expected to be the site of a new migrant processing center, or could be. How will this help?
Well, so first of all, you make a very important point that too few people really know about, and that is the complaint of this particular rancher that you're talking about. There are ranchers from the Gulf Coast all the way out to West Texas whose lives have been turned upside down because of all of the illegal immigration that's coming across the border, coming into counties like Jim Hogg County. And because of that, that's exactly why Texas is working on 3 strategies. One, we're working to build barriers as we are speaking tonight. There are 10,000 National Guard and DPS officers on the border building barriers to make sure that caravans will not be coming through it and getting to Jim Hogg County. The second thing that we're doing is we are arresting people for trespassing, like on that rancher's property. If DPS had been there, they would have arrested him and sent him to jail. And the third thing that we're doing is we're building a wall. Out of Texas taxpayer money, we're making sure that we are building the barriers necessary where we can secure our state so that whether you're in Jim Hogg County or any county, you won't have to be dealing with the chaos caused by Joe Biden's open border policies.
All right, Governor, we are cutting it close on time, but I do want to make sure that we get this question, and especially since you had just refiled for re-election. Your campaign war chest tops $55 million. Your Democratic challenger, Beto O'Rourke, raised $2 million in a single day. Do you think there's a chance this could be the most expensive race for governor in Texas history or even U.S. history?
Listen, I don't know how expensive the race is going to be. What I can tell you the race will be about, and that is, first and foremost, is going to be freedom for our fellow Texans. This is going to be about the future of the people who live in Corpus Christi and the students who go to school there. One thing that's very important about Corpus Christi, for example, is you are a very energy-based community. Your community relies upon the energy industry, and I, as governor, will continue to protect the energy industry, whereas Beto, he stands for policies that would destroy all of the high-paying jobs that we have in the energy sector in the Lone Star State as well as in Nueces County. I am fighting for the jobs of the hardworking people of Nueces County.
All right, Governor, that is all of our time for tonight. As always, thank you so much for making time. We appreciate it.
Thank you all so much.
And when 3 News at 6 continues.